Boom! We are back. It's May 18th, 2020, Monday. It's a gloomy day outside, but it's a good day. We're doing a podcast, so that's how you know it's a good day. No matter the weather, no matter what's happening, it's always a good day. We're here. It's Monday, and the UFC just got over with their big 3 fights in 1 week, 3 fights in 8 days. It was a great week. First live sports to be back since the whole coronavirus pandemic thing, whatever, started. And it was the first time that live sports were going on in forever. It felt like heaven, honestly, being able to turn on TV and see some live sports, not a replay of, an old game or something. The UFC, before this podcast starts and before I get into all the stuff I'm going to talk about, I just want to take a moment to congratulate and thank the entire staff of the UFC. They did a great job. I was reading something earlier that the UFC did 1,100 coronavirus tests, and only 3 obviously came back positive. But, it's obviously, I'm pretty sure that they were bound to, get something to be positive. But, I'm not very good at math, but, I'm pretty sure that's some really good, a really good percentage, Shout out to the staff. Shout out to everybody who was involved with it. It was 3 great shows in Jacksonville, 3 awesome shows. Shout out to Dana White. He made it happen. He was real content being the first sport back. Somebody's obviously got to be the first sport back, and why not it be him, he was saying. So, yeah. And then one more thing. If you know me, I'm not a Khabib fan. But, there are some things that are bigger than fandoms in this world. And one of those is family. And I just want to give a quick prayer shout out to Khabib and his family. Khabib, has had some problems with the whole coronavirus. And Khabib said that his father's in a bad condition because of it. So, I'm obviously not a fan of, his fights. But, I'm a fan of, people. So, shout out to Khabib. I hope he pulls through, as we all do. So, yeah. So, it was a great 8 days. It started last Saturday with Justin Gaethje versus Tony Ferguson for the lightweight belt, or for the interim lightweight belt. It turned out awesome. It was one of the best fights I've ever seen live, or not live. I wasn't there. Obviously, nobody was. But it was one of the best fights I've ever seen. All good? All good?
Yeah.
All right, sick. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, it was one of the better fights I've seen in my life. I was surprised. All right, here. The way I look at it is I think that Justin Gaethje is a horrible matchup for both Tony Ferguson and Khabib. And, and Justin Gaethje proved why he's a bad matchup. He's a brawler who's got some great wrestling. And when Justin Gaethje had the best performance I've ever seen in his life, rather than be the whole brawler, I don't care, I'll get hit so I can get, or I'll get hit so I can hit, type attitude. Instead of doing that, he went in and he was all cool and collected. I think it was the 3rd round, he had Tony clipped, and, rather than, rush and, try and be all crazy, because he obviously knows how dangerous Tony is, everybody does. And rather than do that, excuse me, he was calm, cool, and collected. And he obviously didn't knock him out to the 5th. It was TKO. But that was the best Justin Gaethje I've ever seen in my life. That was the best Justin Gaethje that Trevor Whitman's ever seen in his life. I'm real happy for Justin Gaethje. Sets up a date with Khabib for the belt. Sounds like Dana White wants to do it in September. I hope there's fans for that fight. That'd be an awesome fight to see live. Awesome fight. I think that, I think that Justin Gaethje is just, a style killer. As a lot of people say, styles make fights. And I think that Justin Gaethje's style is really bad for Tony Ferguson, who he proved that it's a bad style. And I think that his style is really, really bad for Khabib. A Khabib striking, all right, he obviously knocked down Conor. I'm not going to talk about that. One lucky shot, but regardless, Justin Gaethje's striking is obviously a lot better than Khabib's. There's nothing you can do about it. But Khabib's wrestling is obviously better than Justin Gaethje's. There's nothing to say about that. It's obvious. But I think that Justin Gaethje's wrestling is very, very underestimated. He was a D1 All-American at the University of Northern Colorado. And so he's obviously, a D1 All-American. If you're a D1 All-American wrestler, you're top 8 best college wrestlers in the world. And he was right up there with all the big shots, whatever year that was. So the only thing about Justin, though, is he doesn't like to wrestle. He doesn't like to wrestle. He'd rather just brawl and have a fun fight. But it's obvious that Khabib's going to take him down. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. Unless Justin Gaethje can pull off a Conor McGregor Jose Aldo knockout in 13 seconds. But, I have a really hard time believing that. It's obvious 110% that Khabib's going to take him down. I think that when Khabib takes him down, it's going to show how good his wrestling is. Justin Gaethje's not going to be in bad spots. Justin Gaethje knows the worst spots possible. He's been there. He's done this. And I think that with Khabib's style, with Justin's style, I think that they match up well for Justin. It's a horrible matchup for Khabib. It's the worst matchup possible. I think Justin's even worse matchup than Tony is for him. But that's beside the point, I do hope that we still get Khabib Tony one day, even if they're 70 years old. Even if they're 70 years old, man, I would love to see them fight. Just one time for old namesake, I don't know, for the sake of it happened. Yeah, what was I talking about? Yeah, but Justin Gaethje took the strap from him. Not from him, it was up there, but we all know. He took the strap and set up a good fight. Awesome fight. I think that Khabib will win a decision. Probably, but don't quote me on that. Justin Gaethje's got Justin Gaethje proved that he's got the power. Justin Gaethje proves that he's got the will. There is a way that he wins this fight. And I think that a lot of people are underestimating him. So that was last Saturday. That was UFC 249. Awesome card. Top to bottom. Perfect. Amazing. Phenomenal. Shout out to Dana White. Then, we were blessed with a Wednesday card. We don't get those often. We don't get a midweek card often. So for us to get a midweek card during this whole countrywide, statewide, whatever you want to call it, lockdown meant a lot. And it was headlined by Glover Teixeira, Anthony Smith. I watched all these fights. So what I'm going to do for you guys, I'm just going to break them down, think about, for some of them, I'll talk about possible opponents and whatnot, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, so on Wednesday, it started off with Thiago Moises and Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson, he looked good in the first round. It was awesome first round. He looked like vintage Michael Johnson. I think he had him hurt a couple times. He could have finished it almost, for being honest. But in the second round, he got taken down real fast and walked right into a heel hook, man. It's tough when you're a legend like that and you're just becoming a name that people can have on your, or you're just becoming a name that these young fighters can get on their resume to be, oh yeah, I beat Michael Johnson, give me this fight. Michael Johnson beat this guy, so I can beat this guy. It ain't always like that, but that's something that the UFC does. I think that Thiago Moises will get a big opponent now because the whole thing behind it is he beat Michael Johnson. Yeah, but, for him to beat Michael Johnson, that's a good start to your career, or not really a start, but that's a good, way to build off your career. Michael Johnson, I don't have it up on the screen, but, I know for a fact Michael Johnson beat Tony Ferguson, before Justin Gaethje beat Tony. Michael Johnson was the last person to beat him 8 years ago. That's unreal, dude. And, yeah, I know Michael Johnson beat Tony Ferguson and Dustin Poirier. And that was a while ago. I think he beat Poirier about 2-3 years ago, but whatever. I remember watching that fight. Sorry, my throat's dry. I don't have coronavirus. Yeah, but Michael Johnson's beat the two of the top 5 best lightweights in the entire world, so he's got nothing else to prove, man. I hope he's not done, but who knows. Next up, we had Arlovsky and Felipe Lins. It's Felipe Lins' first UFC fight. And, I I believe that they're training, that they were, if they still are or aren't, training partners. And if they're not, whatever. But, it was a good win for Andrei Arlovski. He's a walking legend. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. Andrei Arlovski will be a Hall of Famer. There's no question. But he's at the tail end of his career. He's fighting Felipe Lins, and he wins a kind of boring decision. But, that's not the point for him anymore. The point for him is just get in there and, have some fun, man. I know he loves the game. I mean, he lost Jairzinho Rosenstrike. What card was I think that was on the Nate Masvidal card. I've got a computer here, but I don't feel like looking it up. Yeah, he lost Jairzinho Rosenstrike in like 29 seconds or something crazy like that. But and, he's still there. He's still coming at it. He'll obviously never be a champ. He'll never be top 15 again. But as long as he's there, it's awesome to have him. Next, we had Ricky Simón and Ray Bourque. One thing that I learned from this fight is that Ray Bourque should have been a 135er. Ray Bourque is a 135er. He cut 10 pounds sometimes, and he was a 125er. That dude hits so hard for a 125er. It is unreal. It was obviously in an empty arena, and so I was listening to the fight on the TV, and I'm just thinking, dude, like, every single time this guy lands, it sounds horrendous. And what sounds like that hurts, dude. Jeez, my throat is so dry. I've got my duck. Anyway, but yeah, it was an awesome fight. I enjoyed that fight a lot. I like watching a Ricky Simón fight. He's really entertaining. He obviously lost Uriah Faber in like 45 seconds not too long ago, but he's right there, man. I don't think he was ranked, was he? Yeah, no, he wasn't ranked. I'd love to see him get a ranked opponent, man. Maybe him fight. Looking at the rankings, I'd like to see him get a top 15. Maybe John Dodson next. I'd be really up for that fight. It's two awesome styles. John Dodson's so fast, man. It's unreal. And, John Dodson's still ranked 13 after all he's been through. He's never been a champ. He probably never will be. But he's been through a lot, man. And I'd love to see him get that fight. That'd actually be an awesome fight now. I'm thinking about it. John Dodson and Ricky Simón. For Ray Bourque, Ray Bourque's going to go back. I think Dana White is making him stay at 135 since he misses weight like every single fight at 25. But that's not the point, it is the point. The point is that Ray Bourque was a title contender at 25. And I think, if he gets a little, if he like beefs up a little bit more, he's 100% a 135er. There's no question about it. He is a 135er. He's just a 135er who sometimes made 125. So yeah, I at least see him get a top 15, or probably not a top 15. Maybe a lesser name and then a top 15 if he can get through that. But I think he'll get through it. He's an awesome fighter. Of these two cards, the one person who sold me the most, who I am the most high on after these two cards, this midweek card, and then Saturday's card with Harris and Overeem, is Drew Dober. Drew Dober can be a champ. Mark my words, Drew Dober can be a champ. Drew Dober deserves a top 15 opponent, maybe even a top 10 guy at this point. I don't even know. No, Drew Dober looked awesome in that fight, and I think he can do anything. I think he was a former college wrestler. His striking's awesome. His stamina's awesome. His wrestling, I don't think he was a college wrestler because I remember laughing at his wrestling, be like, this dude needs to get better on the ground. But I think that he should fight. Hear me out. I think they should either give him Cowboy or Ally Quinta. I think Al might be a little bit too much, but it's a thing that the UFC does. They like to give these young up and coming guys a big name like Donald Cerrone and Drew Dober. Oops. And and so it gives Drew Dober a lot of publicity. He's fighting Cowboy. If Cowboy wins, his career can kind of go back on track. He can keep fighting these top names. But if Drew Dober wins, his stock skyrockets. He goes from, this dude beats Alex Hernandez to, oh my gosh, this dude beat Donald Cerrone. No, give this guy a title shot. No, I don't think that, but that's how people who don't know the UFC view it. The casuals. Like Miles. Shout out to Miles. Yeah, I think that they should give him Cerrone. The only reason that I would think that they wouldn't is because they don't want to give Donald, somebody who destroys him in 40 seconds again, because he's on a 4-fight losing streak. No, granted, he's lost to Anthony Pettis, Conor, obviously, Justin Gaethje, and Tony Ferguson during that span, and that's obviously, four of the best 155ers, or 170 if you're, care. 155ers and 170 in the world, and so that's a tough go for him. But Don Cerrone's always game. I guarantee if Dana White called him on the phone, was like, "Hey, you want to fight Drew Dober tomorrow at noon?" I guarantee Don says yes. Alex Hernandez, man, I don't know what's next for him. Just normal prelim fight probably. Alex Hernandez, he's real fun to watch, but he made a splash in his UFC debut. I think he beat Mirsad Bektik. I think. Hang on. That's going to bother me if I don't find out who it was. Alex Hernandez. Alex Hernandez, the baseball player. Alex Hernandez, the writer. Nope. I'll type in Drew Dober, and I'll just click on his. Should have this ready. Alex Hernandez, there we are. I think it was Mirsad Bektik. Oh, Benil Dariush. My bad. Yeah, he knocked him out in 42 seconds in his UFC debut on short notice. That was awesome. I remember watching it, I was like, oh, this guy's going to be a stud. Yeah, but, I think the UFC's high on him. Fans are high on him. There's a lot that they can do with him. He's a fun fighter to watch. He's entertaining. He's not done. He'll be back. One fight that really disappointed me, I had high expectations for the loser, was Ben Rothwell and OSP. OSP just looked slow in there, man. It looked like he was not ready to be at heavyweight yet. I know he's always teasing a heavyweight run, but I don't think that he should. No, I'm pretty sure OSP fought John Jones for the belt once at 205. I don't see why he leaves 205 at this point. Ben Rothwell, it was a split decision. I thought it was pretty obvious Ben Rothwell won. I thought Ben definitely won the first, if I'm remembering right. He definitely won the first. And I think OSP got a knockdown in the second. I gave that to OSP. Then I gave Ben Rothwell the third pretty easily. But, it's actually strange. I thought St. Preux looked slow in there when, he's a 205er going up. I think, all right, he's not cutting any weight. He's putting on weight probably. He might be a little quicker. But, he didn't look good at all. He didn't look good at all, man. Ben Rothwell called out, Alexei Oleinik, didn't he? That's an awesome fight. I'd love to see that. It's two old dudes going at it. See which one's, still got a shot. Still got a little shot at doing anything. Yeah, but I'd like to see OSP go back down to 205. The only thing that scares me is, if OSP came up to heavyweight and looked like this, I'm scared that John's going to go up to heavyweight and look kind of slow. But I don't think that's the case. I think that, John Jones is a different breed than OSP, but that's beside the point. Load. There we go. And then the main event, it was a somber main event. It was a week full of somber, man. It's Tony Ferguson, Tony Ferguson in one card, Anthony Smith in one card, Walt Harris in the other card. It's a somber week, man. And it's a somber week for Anthony Smith because he had a home intruder a couple months ago, and then he fought him off, and he said that it was the hardest fight of his life, but everybody respected him because he was defending his family. I respect it too. Shout out to Anthony Smith. But one thing I learned from this fight, Anthony Smith lives up to his nickname of the Lionheart, man. That dude's has the heart of a lion, dude. Shout out to Anthony Smith, man. No, he didn't want to give up. I know he didn't. A dude's teeth are falling out, and he's like, "Yep, I'll go out there." I mean, I wouldn't go out there to begin with, but for him to, have teeth falling out and stuff like, "Yep, let's go." I respect that. Shout out to Anthony Smith. But I expected Anthony Smith to, do the normal Anthony Smith, and wait till the third round, and kind of start tuning it up. And, I thought I was going to be right. In the first round, he looked good. Second round, he looked good. But towards the second round, towards the end, you can kind of see, like, all right, he better get him this round or else it's not going to be good. And then it was the third round. Glover knocked him down, and after that, man, it was over for him, It was a 10-8 round in the third, easily a 10-8 in the fourth. And then after the fourth, during the fourth round, Anthony Smith has something in his hand. He hands something to the ref. And, I was watching Dana White's post-fight press conference, and he's like, yeah, I was really confused on what that was, too. I didn't even see it live. But, it turns out Anthony Smith, his teeth fell out, and he was handing it to the ref. And, he's still like, yep, I'll go out there. That was in the fourth round. And then after the fourth round, he went and told his corner. His corner kind of just like, I discredited it. And they sent him out, and then he got knocked out. It was tough, man. I'm a fan of Anthony Smith. I don't like seeing him get knocked out, but you do what you got to do, man. It's the fight game. I like Anthony Smith. But, it's obviously not the end of him. He's young-ish, I think. He's like 32. And so it's obviously not done. But one thing that, although we're all sad for Anthony, that was the best performance I've seen Glover Teixeira have in a long time. Glover Teixeira's not done. He's on a 4-fight win streak. I know. And so Glover Teixeira is not done by any means whatsoever. I think that this sets up an awesome 6-man kind of let's see what happens in the light heavyweight division. John Jones, I think Jones should fight, which shout out to John Jones. Got this when I went in Houston when he fought Dominic Reyes, and he beat Dominic Reyes. He won that fight. Anyway. Yeah, I think that John should fight Dominic Reyes, and then I'm just going down the list. I think Thiago Santos should fight Anthony Smith. I think Smith should take a little bit of time off, but I think Thiago also wants to take a little bit more time off, so I think it works out perfectly. Thiago Santos, Anthony Smith, and then Jan Blachowicz should fight, where'd he go? Glover Teixeira as the co-main event of Dominic Reyes and John Jones, and the winners of those two, and when John wins that fight, John should fight the winner of Jan and Glover. If Dominic wins that fight, which he won't, because John is a beast in rematches, we all know this. If Dominic beats John, John will obviously get a rematch. So it kind of hold up the division, but whatever. All divisions are held up at the point. Oh yeah, so that's what I think should happen with the 205 division. A 205 stacked. But, pretty soon, fingers crossed, John leaves that division. There's a lot of talk of him versus Francis Ngannou. There's a lot of beef going back and forth on social media that, sorry. Yeah, but there's a lot of beef on social media between Francis Ngannou and John Jones. And that fight, I don't think that'd be a good fight for John's first fight at heavyweight. I think that John should get, even John called for it to get a catchweight 220 fight before he goes up, just a little bit more pounds on, see how it feels. But, yeah, I wouldn't want Francis Ngannou being my first fight in the weight division. But, I would love to see that fight. I think that John, John is a walking, talking encyclopedia of fight knowledge. Francis Ngannou, I love Ngannou. He's awesome. He's one of my favorite fighters to watch. He's one of my favorite fighters, period. But he just doesn't have the IQ that John has. John won't get hit. He'll do anything, Obviously, everybody's got a puncher's chance. All Francis has to do is land one punch and you're over with. But I just I just don't think that John will get hit with that. I think that John does a Stipe kind of thing and just outclasses him like John does the people. It's like he did to Dominic Reyes when he won that fight. I was there. I was at that fight, man. He won that fight 100%. Not a doubt in my mind. I remember there's one guy in front of me, and after the fight ended, I started screaming something about, "Go John, yeah, you got that." And the dude was like, "What? What?" I was like, rounds 3, 4, 5, those were John's. I watched the fight back. It was John 2, 4, 5. I think Dominic might have got the third, actually. I think John got the second, though. But yeah, it was 3 close rounds, and John got 2. So, like, as long as one person's like, I'll give it to, or as long as people are like, I'll give one of these close rounds to John, he wins. Boom. That's what I had to say. Anyway. But yeah, it was an awesome card, man. Top to bottom. I'm sad Anthony didn't get the win. I think that it probably would have set up more for the whole build-up to, for Anthony to get back into the, title contention. But, I think he's right there, man. He's obviously one of the best in the world. There's no doubt about it. He'll be back. So, yeah, that was the midweek card. Shout out to UFC. Did an awesome job. And then, excuse me. And then a Saturday, we had a somber main event. I'll get to that. But, before I get to this fight, or this card, I just want to make it known, I'm not going to be breaking down Eric Anders versus Jacko, because I did not watch that fight. I didn't watch that fight, so I'm not going to know anything about it. So I'm not even going to talk about it. I mean, I'll talk about it a little bit, but not much. So the first fight on the main card of that was Song Yadong and Marlon Vera. It was one of the controversial decisions, which, shout out to the judges, man. You guys are horrible. I think that the judges wear, those face masks that they got to wear. I think that instead of, just keeping it over their nose and their mouth, I think that they just take it and just shield their eyes. Because, I don't know, I feel like they missed 2 pretty easy ones. Song Yadong and Vera, man. I am not a fan of Song Yadong. I think he's the luckiest 135er in the world. I think that Song Yadong and Greg Hardy are the 2 most lucky fighters in the UFC's history. Because Song Yadong lost to Cody Stamann. I promise you he lost that fight. On the UFC Washington card where with Rosenstrike and Ngannou, he lost that fight 100%. And they didn't give it to Cody. Cody deserved that fight. But then a Song got this fight against Chito Vera, who I'm a fan of. I was supposed to see Chito Vera fight, but that fight got canceled. So that's kind of sad. But anyway, when I watched this fight, I'm like, okay, I don't remember the exact rounds, but I think I gave Song the first round. It was tough, but I gave it to him. Then I gave Chito the second round, and I thought it was pretty obvious. And then I gave him the third round too. Now, the third wasn't as obvious, but I thought that it was, it would have been obvious to 2/3 of the people in the room that he won that round. But they didn't give it to him, man. That's one of those things about leaving it to the judges. People are always like, shouldn't leave it to the judges, man. Well, that's just a part of the game, dude. I feel like, all fighters should have the, what's the word, man? A reliability, or to lean on a judge to get a pretty simple decision down. But, it's the name of the game. Bad decisions are the name of the game. And Marlon didn't get it. Song, I think he was ranked 14 before that. I think it was 14 and 15 were going at it, weren't they? Yeah. I think that Song, I think that, they'll if I'm being a matchmaker, I give Song, Rob Font, or Pedro Munoz next. And then Marlon Vera, I think that they should match him back up with Jimmy Rivera. I think that'd be an awesome fight. That was the fight that I was supposed to see, I think. Yeah, it was Marlon Vera versus Jimmy Rivera, supposed to headline the prelims at UFC 247. Shout out to John Jones. But it fell through because I think Jimmy broke his hand. So, yeah, I think that they should run it back. And then, I give Song either Rob Font or Pedro Munoz. I think that he loses both those. I don't think he's that good. And that's saying a lot because he's from Team Alpha, man. I love those dudes up in Sacramento, man. It's my favorite team. Shout out to those guys. Yeah. And then next was the Jacko and Anders fight. I didn't watch this fight, so I'm not sure, if it was a bad decision. But, if it's a 30-27, 29-28, 29-28, it seems like, the right person won. I got to feel for Eric Anders. He's new to the fight game. But, since he's come in, he's done a lot with his publicity. He's obviously a former linebacker on the Alabama Crimson Tide, a national championship team. And, and he's taken some of that athleticism and made it into a pretty promising fight career. I mean, I know he fought a Lyoto Machida in his, third UFC fight. And sure, it was a Lyoto Machida past, his prime, way past his prime. But, it was a split decision loss. But, hey, he fought a Lyoto Machida and he, gave him a good run for his money. And so Eric Anders has taken his, a football toughness and turned it into a pretty promising fight career. And then Jacko, Jacko's always there, man. Christoph Jacko is one of the guys who, probably shouldn't be messed with. No, he's one of the most underrated, I think that's, is that 205? No, it's 285. Is it? Wait a second. Hang on. Christoph. I'm just going to type in Eric Anders because I don't know how to spell Christoph. And I'm really copying and pasting it. Here we go. Oh, I didn't know Eric Anders was born in the Philippines. Interesting. Shout out to Eric Anders. I think it was Jacko, wasn't it? Or was it Volkov? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but no, I was thinking of Alexander Volkov. My bad. But, yeah, Christoph Jacko is always one of the dudes who's right there. That's at 205. I hope that he can get a big fight next. I hope that Anders can also get a big fight, because he's a good fighter. He's 13-5, and he's right there, man. I don't think he'll ever be a champ just because he's so late to the game. He's so new to the fight game. He's so used to playing football, and all these champs, man, are the ones who started, doing a taekwondo karate at, 3. So, he's a little bit late to the game, but, he's always going to improve. He's always going to improve, man. Next fight was Danny Ige and Edson Barboza. I've got a thing for fighters who I've seen fight live, which, a side note, I didn't know this. So, I've been to 2 UFC fights in my life. I went to UFC 218 in Detroit, and I went to UFC 247 in Houston, Texas. I went on a little trip to see that fight. But, and so, yeah, what I didn't know is that the only fighter who was on both those cards was Dominic Reyes. And Dominic Reyes was on the Fight Pass prelims in Detroit. And then 29 pay-per-views later, when I go again, he's on the main event fighting John Jones. So I thought that was pretty cool. So if you look at it on paper, you probably think, hey, probably a Dominic Reyes slappy. Nope, I do not like that guy. But I do respect him. No, I respect all these people, man, who get knocked down. Anyway, so yeah, and so I saw Danny Ige fight Amir Sadbektik in Houston, and that was a good fight. And so I'm always gonna have a thing for Danny Ige. Be like, hey, I saw that guy fight. This was another one of the a controversial decisions that happened. But when I watched it, a Danny Ige got dropped in the first, I think it was 60 seconds of the Barboza fight. And so, as soon as that happens, I'm like, all right, Barboza's going to win. Barboza's a beast at 55. He's going to be an ultra beast at 45. But, a Danny Ige recovered good. So I gave Edson the first round. And then I gave Dan the next 2. I thought it was pretty, obvious that he got those 2 rounds. But, I remember, I think it was Michael Bisping in the commentary was like, oh yeah, Danny Ige better go for broke, man. He's down 2 rounds to none. I'm like, no. I thought it was pretty obvious he won the. All right, it was really obvious Barboza won the first. it was pretty obvious, I thought, that Danny Ige won the second. And I thought it was pretty obvious that Danny Ige won the third. And so, no, they ended up giving it to Dan, and, awesome for him, man. He was ranked 15 at 45, I think, right? Yeah, he was ranked 15 at 45. I don't know what it is about this fight. After that fight, he called out, Jamie Stevens, Qatar, Yair, Zombie, all those guys. I don't want to see him fight Stevens because I think Stevens needs a tune-up fight so he can get a win again. He's on a 4-fight skid. He needs a win. He's a legend. I think that they should match up Danny Ige with Josh Emmett. Now, that'd be a fun fight. Josh Emmett hits so hard. He's always coming at you. Danny Ige hits so hard. He's always coming at you. That'd be an awesome fight, man. I'd love to see that. I don't care who's on that card. That wins fight of the night, whatever card it's on. For Barboza next, I think he's probably going to, he should, or, wait, hang on, I said that wrong. I think that Barboza should go back to 55, but, knowing him and just knowing how he is, he's going to stay at 45. I don't really know what's next for him. I don't think he should be ranked. He lost to 15, and, he won't be ranked. It's kind of over for Barboza. He's never going to be top 10. And no matter what division, whether he goes up to 55 or 45, he's just going to be a name, man. You got to feel for him. He's so close, and then Khabib. So close, and then Khabib. I feel like that's the type of thing for a lot of people. Yeah. And then this is the last controversial decision of the night. It was Angela Hill and Claude Dayla. I'm a big fan of Angela Hill. She's awesome, man. I think she fought If it was her seventh fight in 450 days or something crazy like that. That's unreal, man. Shout out to Angela Hill, man. And it was a controversial decision. I thought it was pretty obvious that Claudia won the first. She took her down and controlled most of the round. It's pretty obvious. In the second round, Angela Hill drops her, and then the rest of the round was kind of just like it was steady. So I'm like, all right, she dropped her. That's obviously a win. It's 1-1. I didn't see Claudia Dayla do anything in the third round worth noting, at all. I thought Angela Hill was pushing the pace. She was landing more strikes. All her strikes were landing. And, she was pushing the pace. And she just looked like she was... What's the word? She just looked like she was doing good in there. And I'm pretty sure Gadelia thought she lost. Because she looked kind of surprised at the decision. Yeah, but, you got to feel for Angela Hill. She'll be back. I mean, she's already calling to fight on Fight Island. And so, she wants to get back there. And, I guarantee if Dana White sent her a contract right now to fight, in 2 days, I guarantee she signs it. No, she'll sign any fight. She doesn't care who. She just fought the number 6 girl in the world, and she took her on. I think she won the fight. My opinion does not matter. And then probably the most somber moment I've ever seen. Walt Harris returned from the tragic murder of his daughter, his first fight. And this is a tough first fight after something like that. I know Alistair Overeem did not want to win this fight. Just because I actually feel kind of bad for Overeem, that he won. But Walt came out. A shout out to Walt Harris and shout out to his family, man. For him to even show up and even want to fight again, it really shows somebody's character and his never give up attitude. But Walt came out, Alistair came out. There's a ton of mutual respect. I mean, I don't know how you couldn't. I respect the dude, and I don't even know the dude. And in the first round, Walt lands a nice right, and he drops him. And I'm like, oh man, Walt's gonna win this fight. Walt's gonna win this fight. And then I think he got a little bit too excited, and he started. I think Walt got a little bit too excited, and he started going crazy, trying to get the knockout, and he couldn't. And he tried going for a head kick, and he slipped. And as soon as he slipped, man, that was the end of the fight for him. As soon as he slipped, Alistair, he's 40 years old now. He's got a billion fights under his belt. And, as soon as he slipped, Alistair took that, that botched opportunity by him, and he pounced on it. And after that, he just absolutely controlled the fight. And then, in the second round, it was a clean head kick, knocked him down, and then eventually he just flattened him out, and Walt was on his stomach, and just ground and pounded him, man. And, I'm actually pretty sure that, Overeem was like, all right, can you stop this? I don't want to do this. Because as soon as the fight was over, rather than celebrate a win, he consoled Walt, and he said, I think he said that they should train together, which I would love to see Walt train with Overeem, because I think that Reem could, really give him some good pointers, because I think that Walt should take some more time off, because, I think that Walt should take some more time off because, he's got to tune up his stamina. He's got to tune up his ground game. That's not there. And then that's not going to, help him because, Walt just fought the number 8 guy. He fought one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. And I think that it's only up from here. I'm not sure who should be next for Walt. I think Alexei Oleinik would be a good fight, but I think they're going to give Ben Rothwell Alexei. But for Reem, I think that the clear-cut winner is Derek Lewis. 100%. I want to see that fight more than anything in the world, dude. Give me Alistair versus Derek Lewis. That would be the most fun fight of all time. Not of all time, but I'm just trying to prove a point, kind of. If it was Derek Lewis versus Alistair Overeem, that'd be an awesome fight. I would love to see that fight. I think it makes perfect sense for both of them. And they've never fought before, so that'd be awesome. But yeah, there's supposedly a pay-per-view, UFC 250 on June 6th, but there's 6 fights on it, and there's no main event. On the UFC's website, it says that the main event is a to-be-determined versus to-be-determined, and I think that they should scrap this, move it back a little so that they can get, a real card, because at the moment, it's headlined by Amanda Nunes, and the co-main event is Charles Byrd and Maki Pitolo. So I think they should scrap this, move it to later bit in June, and get an actual card going. Hopefully Fight Island will be back soon, or will not be back. Hopefully a Fight Island will be in the running soon. I can't wait for that to happen, man. I hope that we get Conor Nate on it, and I hope that we get Jorge and Usman on it. Those are 2 awesome fights that I swear if those fights happen on an island, man, that'd be insane. The buys for Conor Nate 3 on a Fight Island, dude, that would break every single record that the UFC has ever done. The only fight that's bigger than that is Conor Masvidal. And that fight's probably not going to happen. But I'd love to see it happen. So yeah, it was an awesome week of fights. Awesome to see fights back. It was awesome to have sports back, man. There's nothing like live sports, dude. You don't know how much you appreciate them until they're gone. That's one of those things. I know it's one of those things dude, I don't even like basketball. I don't even like hockey. I would do anything for a live basketball or a live hockey game to be on right now. And that's just the sense of it. Yeah. But I think that's all we got for today. It was an awesome week of fights. I've got my buddy Danny. Shout out to Danny McClory. He's coming on here either Wednesday or Thursday. We're going to get an actual podcast in. As you can see, I finally got a cool backdrop. I finally got a microphone for the duck, for Darren the Duck. I got a cool backdrop. It's awesome. I'm so happy to have it. It looks super cool. Got a new microphone. Got rid of that one. It looked kind of stupid, so we fixed it. I got rid of all my stickers. I got rid of some more business cards, and yeah, it's looking good. Subscribe to me on YouTube subscribe to me on YouTube, The Underground F4. It's 3 separate words. Follow me on Instagram at Tug4Comedy. That's Tug F4 Comedy. And listen to me on Apple or Spotify. I don't have many on there because it's really hard with me with all this audio So it's a lot harder for me to get those on Spotify now. But hey, I guess we can take what we get. But that's all we got for the Underground Knee, my MMA show today. We'll be back next Monday to talk about, hopefully there's some fights announced. I know Dana said that there's going to be some matchmaking going on Tuesday. Hopefully there's some fights announced for the June 6th card, or just move it back. I'd be cool with that. So that we can get some really good fights on there, rather than rush it and get some bad fights. Anticipate a new podcast, an episode of the Underground 4 coming Wednesday or Thursday. And I think that's all. We're all set. Are we all set, Darren? I think that's a yes. All right. You guys have a great night.